Hi guys, I'm Megan and I'm one of the nutritionists and also in the sales team at Fresh Fitness Food, and today's video will be on alcohol and how it can impact your exercise regime. Alcohol is a great way of socialising and celebrating special occasions with friends and loved ones, but sometimes it can go a bit too far and you can end up feeling a bit worse for wear the next day. That's okay, as long as you know how to manage it and what to do and what not to do in that situation. First off, we'll start with sleep. Sleep is important in day-to-day functioning and general repair and growth, but obviously if you've had alcohol, this can be impacted. 6 or more units of alcohol can lead to more time spent in deep sleep and less time spent in REM sleep. REM stands for rapid eye movement and is an important and restorative phase of sleep. Typically you get 20 to 25% of your sleep cycles spent in REM, but obviously if you have drunk alcohol, this can be impacted, and that's what leads to more time in deep sleep. This can lead to the tired feeling that you experience the next day, despite whether you've slept for 3 hours or 15. Typically with drinking alcohol as well, you will also have consumed more liquid than you normally might have, and then that can lead to more frequent trips to the toilet in the night and also disrupt your sleep. Alcohol can also cause snoring, even if you do not typically snore. This is because the muscles in your body are relaxed, and therefore any air passing through your nose, throat or mouth is more likely to vibrate. This could affect you if you're not used to snoring and sometimes wake you up, or wake up a partner who is sleeping in the same bed as you and who then may also wake you up to stop you from snoring. This can obviously cause a sleepless night for either you or your partner, and therefore lead to a more groggy feeling the next day. Obviously, if you've had a sleepless night or are just generally feeling tired, it's probably best not to hit the gym and try and attempt a new PB. It may be best just to stick to a light jog or just a gentle walk and see how you feel afterwards. Next up is dehydration. After a night out, people tend to wake up feeling a little bit thirsty, which is perfectly natural, and especially if they haven't been drinking water throughout the night between their drinks. If this is the case, it's important to stay hydrated throughout the day and try to restore any fluids. Most of the alcohol is broken down by your liver, but 2 to 5% of it is expelled via breathing, sweat, and urine. Losing even 2% of your body weight via sweat can lead to a reduction in physical and mental performance. This equates to about 1.5 kilos in someone that's 75 kilograms. A decrease of more than 2% can increase your risk of nausea and vomiting, diarrhea, and gastrointestinal problems, which is not ideal if you're at the gym or just out in public in general. A reduction of more than 5% can reduce your capacity to exercise by around 30% overall, which is why you may feel slightly more exhausted or just generally less fit if you are feeling hungover. Furthermore, only 2 to 5% of alcohol is actually excreted through sweat, urine, and breath. So if you're going to the gym just to sweat out the alcohol, that's probably not a great idea, as it won't have a huge impact on how you feel. If exercise does make you feel better in general, then that's great, but it's not going to help you get rid of the alcohol much quicker. Cognitive performance covers your ability to think, reason, make decisions, pay attention, learn, remember, all sorts of things that you would regularly do on a day-to-day basis. If you're feeling hungover, this of course will be impacted slightly, and you may not be able to think as clearly or make decisions as well as you normally would. It's therefore probably not a great idea to go to the gym and try and hit a new 1 rep max, as you're probably not thinking clearly enough to be able to do it properly, and you're probably not taking all the correct precautions that you should be. Cognitive performance is negatively correlated with hangover severity, the amount of alcohol consumed, and breath alcohol concentration. This essentially means that the higher these things are, i.e. the more hungover you feel, then the lesser your cognitive performance will be. Try not to make any life-changing decisions when you're feeling hungover, as it may not end up too well. Following on from mental capability, mental health can also be impacted by alcohol. Some people experience what's known as hangxiety, which is where they feel particularly anxious or overwhelmed the day after drinking. This is caused by alcohol, of course, as it's a sedative. As you drink alcohol, it can make you feel more relaxed and easygoing and just generally more confident, leading people to drink more. As they drink more, they tend to feel more relaxed, and the cycle continues until they generally feel terrible the next day. The short-term positives of drinking alcohol, such as increased confidence in social situations, can often be outweighed by the negatives. The relaxed feeling you get when you drink alcohol is due to the chemical changes that occur in the brain. Alcohol acts on the prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain that's associated with inhibitory control. Gradually, the sedative effects of alcohol wear off, which can lead to withdrawal symptoms. This, paired with the physical symptoms that you would normally experience with a hangover, can lead to a deep psychological feeling of depression or anxiety. This can be minimal, so you may just feel a bit worried in general, or it could be completely overwhelming and just fixating on things that you might have said or done the previous night. This again is quite normal, and a good way of managing it is to exercise if you feel like you're able to, just to take your mind off things. That can be, again, a light walk or a gentle jog, just to feel like there's some form of escape or distraction. This feeling can be minimal and just a bit of general worrying, or it can be completely overwhelming and all-consuming. It could be thoughts about what you did the night before or how you acted, or maybe what you said to someone, especially if you can't remember. If you feel these kind of symptoms, exercise can be helpful. If you just go for a light walk or a gentle jog, this can help take your mind off things and give you a sense of escape. Obviously, to try and avoid this happening in the future, it may be good to limit your alcohol consumption. If there's a certain amount that you know you can drink without experiencing these symptoms, then obviously try and stick to that. Finally, we have digestion. Alcohol is a toxin, and so when you consume it, your body's main goal is to get rid of it as quickly as possible. In doing this, other processes are substantially minimized or completely inhibited. This can mean that the nutrients from the food you've consumed previously in the day are not fully absorbed and therefore not fully utilized. As your hangover can affect your digestion, you may feel that you're more bloated than normal as well. If you're trying to exercise when you're in physical discomfort, that can also end up badly. You may end up feeling sick or just not being able to continue with the exercise that you're doing because of the physical pain that you're in. If you do find that this is the case, just try to relax. Try and have a peppermint tea or something that might help settle your stomach, and you can always try again later that day or the next day instead. Overall, it's mostly important to try not to do too much intense exercise if you're feeling hungover or just generally unwell. It will likely be more effective for you in the long run to just stick to some light exercise on hungover days. This will probably reduce the likelihood of muscle injury or injury in general, and you will also feel better for it the next day as well. Make sure you drink plenty of fluids and try to stick to nutritious foods. Reaching for a takeaway may be tempting, but that can also affect how your digestive system works and how you feel as well. Something greasy might sound good, but it may actually end up making you feel worse in the long run.